Hello everyone, my name is Baloo, this is my sketchbook, and this guy right here has been my art director for my newest illustration that I've done for this week. I know, there might be some questions like, how can it be? Isn't it a toy? Did he really guide you in such way? Is he single? All of those and many other questions will be answered throughout the whole video, so strap on and let's go. What? What do you mean? You asked me to point it out. What do you mean not like that? No, you told me specific. Oh, you know what? Roll the intro. We have to talk. Yes, we have to talk. Well, after the what did no? Yeah. So as you might know, I'm a huge MTG fan, starting from the September of last year, and as every MTG fan, naturally, I collect cards, I make decks, and I do play Commander, naturally. But ever since I made my first deck, I had this one small problem. There's not enough cards. Which sounds stupid, I know, because every year Wizard of the Coast print millions and millions of cards. What I meant is that there's not enough themed thematically enough cards. Basically what I mean is when I make a deck and it's a tribal and let's say frogs, I want all the cards in my deck, all 100 of them, at least majority of them, to be thematically frog related. Or if it's zombies, I want them to be zombie related and so on and so forth. But there's not enough usable cards for the deck that have thematically art as a frog, or as a dog, or as a zombie, or whatever the deck is built around. So when I was building an Arabella deck that's themed toys and dolls, I decided to take one card that is really useful in that deck and make it thematically to fit the Arabella, which is dolls and toys. Step 1. Come up with the idea. That is where this guy, let's call him Teddy, came for help. So he was just sitting there on his bookshelf, not bothering anyone, just casually sitting, while I, on the other hand, was not sitting on one place and was bothering everyone while I was trying to come up with the idea of the soul ring. See, I wanted to make a soul ring that was not just a ring with a toy or a toy ring, but actually was a part of the toy. So there were like 2 points for the illustration. So at some point when I was frantically searching for the idea, I just looked behind and I saw him sitting on a bookshelf with other books, and in the split of a second, the bulb on my hand burst bright, and the idea was there. Step 2. Make a sketch. This step was not really long. I had really good real-life reference right there in my bedroom, so I took the reference, made the sketch, and voila, it was all done. Before this step, I must also mention that there was step 0 as well, where I write down the idea I had and guiding notes for the illustration, which I forgot to mention, so here, I am mentioning that now. Step 3. Starting the watercolor. After the line work was printed, I went to my drawing board, tapped the paper, and the splashing of water and color began. With this one, as it was not just a standalone creature but had some background elements, I wanted to play with wet technique, which meant I had to put down the colors while paper was wet. This paper is not the quickest, dryingest paper of all. It's not a watercolor paper as you can, or well, as you probably can see. But even so, it did not give me any problems. Even though I have used watercolors previously, it still gives me small fear when I'm using it. But at the same time, it's kinda exciting, like the fear of like unknown and like, oh, what's gonna be, and like, oh, thrilling, you know? Exciting! Having to work with a wet technique, I feel like has given much more vibrant color on the bear at the end. So all the fear was well worth it. Step 4. Pencils. After spending some time on watercolors and spending 3 times more on waiting for it to dry out, it was time to bust out my pencils. There's something nice about pencils. They're so different, so opposite of watercolors. You have so much more control over them. Yes, you need to constantly sharpen them, but even that is some kind of stress, really. Until you break the tip and you have to resharpen everything again until you find that the tip was even broken quite deeper in the land, and then that breaks off and you have to resharpen everything for the third time and hope that the third time will be the last time you have to sharpen it, and hopefully you can get to the fine business. But in the end, it's still nice and enjoyable. Adding a line work with color pencils have always been something I like. Having the chance to sharpen the edges of the watercolors, who can say no to that? I also added some gradients to the sections of the illustrations, having some more hue variation in the portions of the illustrations. I don't know, it gives that like added oomph, you know? Like the oomph. Oomph. You know? Okay, next step. Oh no, still on the pencil step because it's the longest one and I recorded it a lot, so I will show you everything that I can. And well, also there's not much left after this step, so yeah, I added as much interest as I could with pencils. And I did go back to watercolors for a second because I had this feeling that shadows lacked contrast a little. So I added 1 or 2 layers of quick watercolor, which I hope has helped the illustration. And that was it. I did have to add a little bit of inking to some of the places with the line art that I wanted to show for just, again, a little bit, and in the places that had the deepest of shadows, but I did not film them because it was not really that much to show, and yeah, it was really quick. In any case, with all the steps done, the soul ring was finished. Wow, amazing. I'm quite proud with how this turned out. Yes, I was quite fearful about watercolors, but I still enjoyed the whole process. And yes, even the sharpening part as well for pencils. And I do hope that you enjoyed the end result as well. Oh, before I forget, look at this. So this is how it will look on the card visually without the, well, no, not borders. I think it's called extended art, but whatever. Yeah, this is how I wanted to have the final product in general. This is the soul ring, and I like it so much that I'm probably going to make a proxy out of it and actually add the card to my Arabella deck instead of the basic boring soul ring. It's not boring and it's not basic. I'm so sorry. Well, it's basic, but it's not boring. Anyways, if you made it this far, do not forget that yes, this is a magic card, but I made it as a magic card. It's still a creature from my world, which you can have an access with its lore and its full glory right on my Patreon. The link is down in the description and you can click it, give it a little sub, and with that you will be able to support me and support whatever I'm doing here if you like it, and get a lot of creatures for your tabletop RPG games, and maybe even use this toy to bring some horrors upon your players, because why not? In any case, I hope you enjoyed the process, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed everything that you've seen so far, and again, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, that helps me a lot, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye! Now I have to talk with that bear.